first trip to America, and Brian, he rented a couple of big old station wagons, and we took all our stuff in the back of these station wagons, and we just drove.
And
I remember being pretty bored. I was pretty bored until we got to Denver, and then there was the Rockies.
Yeah,
and then it got exciting. And
they don't have those Rockies in Brighton.
Well, we got some white cliffs. We've got chalk cliffs, but nothing like the Rocky Mountains. There's nothing. Yeah. We haven't even got any mountains in England. I mean, the tallest mountain is Ben Nevis, and it's kind of a glorified hill.
So, Steve, when I started buying records, I went out and bought what you'd expect. I bought Beatles record. I bought a Rolling Stones record. I bought Deep Purple Machine Head, if you remember that one. Mm-hmm. I bought a Carpenter's record. I love the Karen's voice. And then I bought, what was the other one? Dark Side of the Moon. And so that was kind of where I was. I'm saying early 70s. And then I hear this sound of this band that comes out. It's a combination of jazz, funk, R&B, and it's called The Average White Band.
That's right.
It was so different. It's so fresh. It was kind of things you heard before, but kind of not. So,
look at that skinny guy. Look at that skinny guy.
Look at that picture. I think even your logo was controversial back then.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. I don't know if we get away with that now.
Yeah.
we actually had one album called Warmer Communication, and we actually brought the logo to life. And it was a girl standing in a bathtub, and she was handing a bar of soap to another girl, and so there was the A, and then the W was made out of this girl's bottom, and then the B was part of her arm, handing the soap. Huh. So I think she stood like that, and he did, there was the A that was made out of this part, and then the W with the bottom, and they said, and the art department got hold of that, and they said, we never be able to sell that in like Kmart or anything like that. We got to cover up a bottom.
Yeah.
So we'll add some steam. So they added steam to the bathroom. So
to kind of
and then they sent it back to them, and they said more steam. So they kept adding steam until they said that's okay, we'll get away with that, and they did it, and they put out the album. A few weeks after the album, or a few months after the album was released, Ahmet Ertegun invited us to some awards thing that was going on, just to go with him and hang out. And Ahmet was just a great guy, and when we all arrived in these limousines at this venue, and as we got out, there was all these women against violence against women. I think it was like that was their rallying call, and they were standing there, and they had the copy of our album, and they're saying, "This is violence against women. You're boiling women alive."
Oh boy!
It's like you couldn't win for losing,
Well, certainly an exciting band at that time. I mean, you guys, I would say from my little universe, being 12 or 14. I mean, you guys were revolutionary. Yeah. And I don't know if you saw that at that time or not. I mean, there was a Motown vibe obviously happening, kind of here's a rock and roll and pop, and here's the Motown. But then this AWB just comes shooting out of left.
Well, yeah, I think the thing was that, I mean, we were all the same age, the guys in Average White Band, and we were all the same age. And they grew up in Scotland, and I grew up in Brighton, which is the two polar ends of England, and of Great Britain rather, and we were listening to the same music. Well, we were with you. I was with you until with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. But after that, there was a divergence that happened, and
that's right.
I was a mod, and we used to like to go out dancing, and all my guys were mods and used to go out dancing, and we used to listen to Stax, and we used to listen to Motown, and we used to listen to blues. There was a whole bunch of stuff that we used to listen to. That was more. It was funny because the horn players were the guys that were more the jazzer guys. The horn players were more into like John Coltrane Charlie Parker and all that sort of stuff. You know, those players and I guess, you know, I'd sort of dabbled in that area as far as you know, Art Blakey, Max Roach, and Alvin Jones were heroes of mine as far as drumming. Although I never played anything like them, their attitudes in playing made a massive impression on me. On how I played.
Yeah,
but how I listened.
Right. Okay. Who was stepping out at that time that was similar to Average White Band? I think Earth, Wind and Fire was around that time, but that was kind of the early rumblings.
They were a little bit later than us.
Yeah.
The only band that I can think of that was could have been anywhere near us at all was the Rascals.
Okay.
The Rascals were very much great band, a really terrific band. I love the Rascals.
Yeah,
but I don't think that there was anything. I don't think that there was anything quite like us. I mean, there was a lot of bands that sort of came along, sort of copycat bands, really. I would guess, you know,
sure.
Play that funky music, White Boy, that band, and I mean, they were basically a rock band that sort of like jumped on the bandwagon of Average White Band, really.
Exactly.
And Casey and the Sunshine Band, they were all after us. So, you know. But there was some great funk and soul music around at that time. Spinners, the Spinners were just an incredible
sure.
band. What was the band that did Money? Geez, when my brain starts, when it comes to names, I'm just like, it's muddled by years of drum abuse. Well, I mean, there's just so many really great bands in that era, really, really cool bands. And you know, James Brown. We listened to James Brown all the time too.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, we loved James Brown. What's not to love? You know.
Yeah. It just seemed like you guys came out and just captured the world in a very unusual way. I mean, you think about the funk and the jazz and whatever else we have going on, but you guys kind of grabbed it and stuck it right. I mean, those songs went right to the top.
Yeah, and I think the thing about Average White Band was that it was authentic. You know, I mean, when we came over, a lot of people sort of looked at us. You know, they would look at the band and they'd say, What are these white guys? You know, what are these white guys doing playing this music? You know, and then it'd be like, there would be a little bit of resentment. Sometimes it would be like, you know, these white guys stealing our music. You know, they completely forget that I was in the band. I mean, it didn't matter. The front of the band was all white people, and I just happened to be there tagging along with that stuff, and so that made me probably as bad as them, but for some people's attitudes. But what you would find, we could walk out on stage, and there would be these people that would be sitting there like, okay, white boys, you know, show us, you know, and we walk out there, and it was a hostile environment. But the problem was that the band could deliver, and when the band delivered, they went, well, they'd have to concede that we did kind of sound good, and you'd see them come along with us, and so now the attitude of Average White Band, I think it's outlasted all the other bands, the copycat bands, because it was authentic. It still is special when any of us get together and play. It's a special thing.